name's Tom Stoukas, coming to you from Sarnia, Ontario on April 16th. Hope everybody's having a nice night. So, it's been a rough day, long day. So, just 12 days away from the Canadian election. Should be interesting. I think I saw the poll today. Was it 8 points for the Liberals? And I can't help but think that Doug Ford's comments on Pierre Poilievre's campaign and how it's being run probably haven't helped the polling numbers for the Conservatives, which is weird. It's so weird going into an election and not having your flank in Ontario covered. Like, to have this happen in the middle of the campaign, a little brouhaha fight, a little cat fight or whatever, between the two campaign teams, it's going to hurt because it's going to say, why should we vote for Pierre? Like, I'm talking more of the middle of the road undecided voters. It's like, why should we vote for them when he can't even get his own team flank covered? It's not a good look. And I see Doug Ford, a lot of his comments on his posts are really not holding back against him. People finally figured out he was a liberal. It's like, I've been saying this for years, since COVID. Like, I don't understand it. But whatever, better late than never. So yeah, now they're like, want to get rid of him, and I said it. I think I predicted this, that they wanted to get rid of him and put Carolyn Mulroney in, who she actually lost to Ford in the leadership contest. So was the runner up. And this thing with him, the way he's handled Pierre, people are like, especially if Carney wins, they're gonna like be furious with him. They're even like, I've seen people want to do like a leadership review and all that, which would be crazy. It'd be awesome. I think, and I said this before, that he's gone, like served his usefulness. He was there to be the bad guy for COVID and to like be the no alternative, like Conservatives had no alternative but to vote for him, so he was the guy to implement the COVID measures. And now, he's more of a liability, I think. And now if the polls hold up, he's gonna get the wrath of a lot of people in Ontario who wanted Pierre to win. They are kind of in the same party. Not in the same party. It's Progressive Conservative Party and the Conservative Party. Probably two different parties, but the idea is they're on the same team. And then Ford's got this big expose against him in the New York Times about the Ontario Place deal that he basically gave away to some foreign company. Who knows what kind of slush fund deals and side envelopes were passed around on this one. It's like prime waterfront. I don't live in Toronto, so I'm not 100%. But I know it. I used to go there when I was a kid, and they destroyed it, it looks like. So hopefully that'll get rid of him, because I'm just sick of looking at that fat trader's face. I have no respect for that guy. I liked his brother. I didn't care how much about the crack. Well, I kind of do care about the crack, but compared to what his brother's done, Doug Ford's done, the crack is nothing. So, tonight was the French leaders' debate. I don't really speak French. Well, I don't speak French. Um, but I haven't heard anything like knockout blows or anything. It looks like Carney French sucks, but I guess from what I can understand is he might have got a couple hits, hit, you know, landed on him. But from what I can understand, he didn't. Nothing huge happened at these debate. The English one's tomorrow night, so at least I'll be able to understand that one. um, but yeah, the 8%, 8 points, he's up. It's according to the Daily Tracker. And like I said about the Doug Ford thing, it's gonna hurt. Like conservatives in Ontario might say, "Oh, we're gonna vote for Pierre now," because they're fired up what Doug Ford stabbed him in the back. But like I said, the middle of the road voters, the undecideds, are going to kind of question Pierre's credibility because Ontario is the biggest province in Canada. And for not to have lined up not to have your team covered in Ontario, like on same page with the Ontario team, which is the Conservative government. They've been there. They've have majority 3 times. So, I don't know. Seems like he should have got that situation under control before it went all public, ugly, like silly arguments between the campaign teams. Couldn't have happened at the worst time. So it's going to hurt Pierre with the centrist voters who are undecided. And they're like, well, he can't even keep his own team together. So Doug Ford's going to pay a big price. I think he's on his way out. I hope so. Ain't going to change anything. But people are getting tired of his act. And then we'll look at some other things. I saw Maxime Bernier was on Tucker. I'm going to watch that after. It should be good. Would have been nice to see Pierre on Tucker, but he won't go near that. Other than that, oh God. So yeah. I think the biggest mystery for me was Doug Ford. All of a sudden, people are figuring out he's a liberal. I was screaming it like all the time, and people were looking at me like I'm crazy. During the election, I was like, Doug Ford's governed hand in hand with Trudeau for 5 years. Like, now he's going to do the same with Mark Carney. And everybody's like, no. And now they act all shocked that he's dumping on Pierre. For whatever reason. I don't know the reason. It could be a very petty reason, or it could be a serious reason. Whatever. The point is that it's happening. And yeah. I don't know how people, it took them this long to figure it out. They're awake. The beast is awake. I'm going to really read some of these comments. It's going to be crazy, though. It's going to be a close election, I think. Got the popcorn ready. I don't think, though, it's going to change. I think we need a lot of big changes to happen in this election. It's going to be either one or the same party, or one party or the other. Same result. All right. So let's see what they. It's been a long day. I apologize.
Now Trudeau is gone or sort of.
Hold on. All right. Let's start at the start of the day. All right. Yeah, it was an early morning. All right. First post of the day. I don't know. I can't believe this is happening, but it says here brazen jewelry robbery yesterday at Costco on 410 and Steeles, Mississauga. Look at that. Costco, usually Costco's free from these kinds of things because they have a membership. And the membership prohibits people from coming in like this, supposedly. But now they've crossed the line of Costco. This is the downfall of civilization when Costco's being violated like this. It's one thing for Walmart, but for this to happen in Toronto of all places. What's going on in Toronto? Okay, I gotta watch this. Can't go to Costco. And they got like nice stuff there, like jewelry. Now they're selling like gold. I think they have the gold in the back, though. They don't have it like sitting there under the counter. Okay, let's see what these guys. Pretty brazen, if you ask me, yes.
They are scum. They are.
So, yeah. Pretty crazy. Costco. What happened to Costco, man? That's kind of a weird place to do it. Like, there's tons of people, tons of cameras. I don't know. All right, next post. So that's what I woke up to. Costco getting robbed. I don't really care. It's Costco. The point is you know things are bad when the Costco's getting hit like this. Because Costco's, the whole point of getting the membership is to keep the riffraff out. So why are you paying for the membership? All right. Next post. So this is a big deal. This is why PPC people can't join, or PPC like-minded people can't join the Conservatives, because of stuff like this. In BC right now, there's something embarrassing going on for the Conservatives. So basically, this longtime politician in BC wanted to run for the Conservative Party, and he was replaced by anyway. The point is he's running as an independent now in BC. So he wasn't allowed to be the nominee, and they put this guy in. Oh, I'll find more on this. Hold on. Next. But anyway, the point is they took this guy out who's been there forever and put some Indian guy in, and they basically think they own these ridings. Like, and it's happening where whoever is going to be the nominee for that riding is going to be their person. So basically, they own the riding. You know, it's the way it's happening. How many more ridings is that going to happen to? I mean, it's happened here. I'm going to read more on this. Pierre Poilievre, next post. So we're talking about Doug Ford. Basically sabotaging Pierre's campaign in Ontario at a crucial time, and you know, like whether it might be justified, maybe not, I don't know. But now, so we had Corey I don't know how to say his name, Tenecki. We've been going public with a lot of sharp criticism of Pierre and Pierre's team, and he's like the mastermind of Ford's campaigns. He used to work for Stephen Harper as well. And Nick Kouvalis, who is another really, he's known as a pretty aggressive campaigner. He wins too. He's a winner, I guess. And he's chiming in against Pierre. So it's not only Corey Tenecki, who's Doug Ford's like campaign guy, but Nick Kouvalis, another big campaign guy for Doug Ford, saying this with us or against us attitude is going to cost PP or Pierre Poilievre and the CPC the election. My way or the highway combined with I will burn down your village may even cost him his seat. Ooh, this is Doug Ford's advisor saying this. What the hell, man? It's hilarious. I'm quite surprised you took the time to think through, write down, and post such a ridiculous and pithy response. Good luck out there. So he's responding to somebody saying, you're in, you're out, like not to undermine the CPC campaign. So Nick doesn't agree with that approach. He says that's not the way to run a party. But the point is how has this gotten festered out in the open like this? Like at a time when the Liberals were vulnerable. They're vulnerable. And they were leading in the polls. And how has this happened? So at the end of the day, it's going to look bad on Pierre because he should have got a handle on this, made peace, whatever. You can't go into a Canadian election with Ontario flitting about, making all these comments. And it's really going to hurt them in Ontario. And that's why I said it's Pierre Poilievre not having the best of luck in Ontario. It's a bad look for him with 2 weeks left in the campaign. Yeah, like, he's supposed to be fighting the Liberals, not the Ontario PCs. It's weird. And even people are saying about Carolyn Mulrooney now, oh, we need her now. And she's been supporting Pierre. Like, she showed up at one of his campaign things. Excuse me. Next post. All right, this is more about the BC riding where Pierre or the Conservative Party interfered to put a Indian guy in instead of this Mike DeYoung, and this guy's Ed Fast, he used to hold the riding, and he's endorsing Mike DeYoung, who's riding as an independent. So it's kind of like it's another distraction if you're a party that's according to the polls, you're trailing. and BC's like a party or a province with a lot of seats. It undermines them to have to deal with this. So let's see what he says.
Langley, we're expected to really take the brunt.
It's just festering. It looks like, and it's kind of the whole thing about PPC is just basically a globalist party because they have no problem turning Canada into India, just like the Liberals have no problem turning Canada into India. So this is kind of a good example of that proof of the point.
Ask you about this decision. Obviously, there were a couple of options available to you: support the Conservative candidate, not support anyone. You decided to come out in detail, or sort of state in quite lengthy detail why you wanted to support Mr. de Jong instead. What can you tell Canadians watching tonight about that decision?
Well, I can tell you, first of all, Vashi, that I still support the election of a strong Conservative government under Pierre Poilievre, but this is not the way to do it. What happened in Abbotsford effectively was that the nomination process was hijacked by party officials in which they disqualified by far the most qualified candidate, which is Mike de Jong, and qualified what is arguably the most unqualified and inexperienced candidate. And I still am having trouble getting my brain around how they came to the decision to have a 25-year-old student lead our community at a time when we've got Donald Trump's tariffs threatening, especially my community of Abbotsford and Langley. We're expected to really take the brunt of tariff imposition. The farming sector, the trucking sector, the manufacturing sector.
Yeah, it's weird.
All are implicated here in Abbotsford. To have an inexperienced novice representing us in Ottawa is just unfathomable. And of course, Mike de Jong clearly has got the resume. He's got the experience, 30 years, senior levels of government in the province of British Columbia. We now have two Conservative choices in Abbotsford. I think you know who I'm supporting, and I fully suspect that the voters of Abbotsford and Langley are going to choose Mike de Jong as well.
You wrote the process, basically, that unfolded was far from open and fair. It now appears that party insiders, conspired to manipulate the process to ensure that their chosen 25-year-old candidate, until very recently,
I didn't know he was 25 too. That's weird.
Quote unquote elected. When you talk about party insiders, when you characterize it as conspiring to manipulate the process, do you have any evidence of that? Do you know that to be true?
Yes, I do. And I've spoken
He's talking about
to
the Indians.
Party officials I will not name, who have admitted that what they did, or what the party tried to do, was appoint a candidate in my riding. And this is happening in other ridings across the country as well.
Of course it is.
And because there was such pushback about this being a staunchly Conservative riding with a long-standing member of Parliament, the party backed off from appointing. They went through a sham process of allowing 6 candidates to campaign for a full year, signing up thousands of members, when in fact, now it turns out it was pretty clear that their intention was to have their anointed candidate, a 25-year-old student, effectively, step into that role when nobody knew the guy, in the preceding years. He's never been involved in Conservative politics, whereas all the other candidates they've earned their right to actually represent our community. So I felt in this circumstance that Mike de Jong was by far the most qualified candidate to represent our community, and I've chosen to publicly endorse him to be the next member of Parliament for our area.
So this is a big distraction in BC, but also the whole point of the Conservative Party criticism of it is they dumped this white dude for some 25-year-old Indian kid. Why? Because they had the votes? I don't know. Now De Jong's running as an independent. And he's actually almost tied with a conservative candidate. And the guy says it's happening in other ridings. Of what I said, they want to own the riding. They pick the candidate. It's like, what kind of politics is that? Some guy who grew up, his family grew up, he grew up in the riding, and he can't win the nomination because it's already pre-selected. It's already owned by a different ethnic group. That's what's going on. There's some in Ontario, too. I'm sure there's a few in Ontario. Not my riding, not yet. Next post. So that's what's wrong with the Conservative Party. They play ethnic politics just like the Liberals. All right. Maybe it won't go anywhere, this story, but De Jong's being he's competitive, and I think other people have come out to support him, and he as an independent. Next post. See the Green Party removed from both election debates. I didn't know who's going to show up for the debate, one or the other, or both. We don't have to worry about that now, I guess. All right, next post. Premier Doug Ford asked his Minister of Infrastructure to look at a New York Times story that suggests the Ford government may have been hoodwinked on the Therm Ontario Place deal. I wouldn't say investigating. I want to double check the contract to make sure it passes the smell test. I'll find out what the story is on that. This could sink him because between the green, whatever the green belt bullshit and now what he did to Poilievre's campaign. If this comes up rotten, he's done. This might be his downfall, the spa. It was a stupid idea, and the Science Center was stupid. He's a traitor anyway. So basically the New York Times story is saying that this company is like a fake company and they're lying about most of their shit. And we just gave them a sweetheart 99-year deal in the most prized waterfront area of Toronto. All right. If that ain't enough to get somebody kicked out, I don't know what is. Maybe being a COVID commie premier and helping Justin Trudeau destroy Canada. But well, I guess Ontario Place will be the straw that broke the camel's back. I have a feeling. It was a rotten deal. And now they smell blood. And I think, to be honest, I think the globalists have gotten their use out of Doug Ford. We'll see. Next post. Yeah, this is funny. Federal leaders to debate on immigration in French, but not English. That's funny. I don't even think they didn't really say anything crazy on immigration today anyway in the French thing. This election has been very devoid of any immigration talk, like very, very little. Like you would think it would be the number one issue, but now they made it Donald Trump and his tariffs. Yikes, we're screwed. Like nobody, maybe the Bloc guy would talk about immigration to his constituents. But the English leaders, no, hell no. Two of them are super for it, and the other one's for it. You're just too much of a coward to say it. All right. So they won't talk about immigration tomorrow. But you know who will talk about immigration is Max, who was on Tucker just now, today, I believe. And I'm going to listen to it tonight. it should be good. I know Tucker's got a little interest in Canada. I want to see how many views it'll. It says 2.2 million. Is that views? I think it is. Let's see the opening at least.
Now that Trudeau is gone or sort of gone, like, what was that? Who was he working for, actually?
I can tell you, Tucker, he was not working for us, for Canadians. He did destroy our country economically, socially, and culturally. What he did to us during COVID-19, that was an authoritarian government. I don't know if you remember that, but I did an interview with you after.
Very well.
Yeah, I was handcuffed and put in jail for non-crime just in the summer of 2021 because I was speaking about freedom in a park in Manitoba.
All right, so I'm going to watch that later. I think it's what, an hour or something. What did he do, though? He did Patrick Bet-David. He's done a few podcasts. All right, next post. Okay, the next post, the up-to-date poll. What is this? 3-7. Yeah. Seven. I don't know. 7. It says 8 points here. That doesn't seem like 8 points. Anyway. Stupid CP24. I don't know. I think they got their math a little wrong. But it's 7 points, I think. Anyway. It seems to be inching. And like I said, Doug Ford's comments, especially in crucial Ontario. Ontario, without Ontario, it's over. And you could bet when Brian Mulroney won his elections, he had his Ontario bases covered. When Stephen Harper won, he had Ontario's base covered, meaning they weren't going to fight with their counterparts in Ontario during an election. But Pierre hasn't managed to do that. I mean, it's the biggest province in Canada. It's one thing, let's say, you don't get along with the campaign team in Nova Scotia, with the Conservatives in Nova Scotia, but it's Ontario. So, 12 days to go. I want to see the video of Ford. Right. So this is the clip that's finally woke up people to realize that Ford was a liberal or a liberal puppet or a globalist puppet. For years I've been saying this. And like I said, they all looked at me. But now, after yesterday, now people are finally woken up to the fact that, they've been hoodwinked. And conveniently right after the election. Let me see.
Decide which way they want this country to move forward, but sometimes the truth hurts.
Okay. This is what finally.
For Corey, I've said right from day one, he's tough as nails, but he's the best campaign manager in the country. And to be very frank, if Corey was running that campaign, I don't think Mr. Poilievre would be in the position he's in right now. But it's still a lot of time left. We still have debates. At the end of the day, the people will decide which way they want this country to move forward. But sometimes the truth hurts.
So right there, that's the moment everybody realized Doug Ford was a liberal. I was like, it wasn't all the COVID vaccine passport and, you know, holding Justin Trudeau's hand and being buddies with Chrystia Freeland. No, finally, this was the moment. Because he had a chance, you know. Well, he could, you know, he didn't put a leash on Corey Tanecki going all crazy, saying all sorts of crazy stuff, which might have been true, might have been accurate, but he stayed right in the middle of a campaign. So they all knew what they were doing, but people are finally starting to realize he was a liberal. I mean, better late than never. Better late than never, I suppose. But that was the quote right there. The truth hurts. So this is the 25-year-old that Pierre wanted to represent the Conservatives in BC. There you go. And there's his supporters. Okay. The Conservatives are just a globalist party. They can dunk on the PPC all they want. That's weak. I'm sick of it. And this one comment about Ford, it would have been nice if that New York Times piece about Ontario Place would have come out a couple months ago. Yes, happened to come right out after the election. Would have been nice to know. But I think if this thing smells more and more, it's going to be bye-bye Ford, because between this and the Greenbelt, plus now the Conservatives, what his comments on the election, I think they'll be getting rid of him. All right.
Killing your citizens through the MAIDS program. Like everything he did seemed designed to destroy Canada.
All right. Finally, it's been a long day. I don't want to get into details, but I've been up early and so I'm going to enjoy my sleep tonight. We'll leave it out. This will be the last post of the day. Someone ordered a pizza from Tim Hortons, and apparently there's a scissors. Now, mind you, this could have been a scam. Like, he could have just stuck his scissors under there for clicks. So, I don't know. You know, the point I don't know. It could have just been set up that way. But who the hell orders pizza at a Tim Hortons? Like, you deserve to get scissors in it. But I used to go to Tim Hortons all the time. I even bought shares in the company. Luckily, I bought them just before they were acquired by the American, whatever, some kind of food group or something. But, you know, I was that good into the product that I bought shares in it. And now I barely go there because it's just so much bad experiences. Those days are gone forever, I guess. But that's the way it goes. Nothing lasts forever. So, until tomorrow, we'll get caught up on the election campaign tomorrow. And until then, everybody have a nice night. Thank you.